To get started, you want to thread your cords onto your button. So I've done them all at equal length at either side, including the long ones. And once you've done that, you want to attach your button to the top of your board. So you want to take your contrast colour, which will be the 4 colours in the centre, and you want to clip these to the bottom of your board. So these will be your shortest cords, and then your longest cords will be your darker ones at the outside, or lighter if you've chosen to go the opposite way around to what I've done. But the one thing I will say is these cords need to be thinner if you want to show this colour up in the centre when you do your square knots. So to get started, I'm going to do a couple of square knots to begin with. So to do that, you're going to go over with this cord, and then you're going to go over with this cord, and then you're going to pull that cord under and through here. And then you want to do the opposite for the other half of your square knot. So you want to go under, and then under this cord, and then over and through. And then you want to repeat this for your beginning square knot. So I'm going to do a few to start off the bracelet. So just going over, over and through. And then under, under and through. So once you've done as many square knots at the beginning as you want, you can start your beading sequence. So you want to take your first bead, and the very small beads here, which is why I've got the thinner cord, and you want to thread your cord through your bead, and then just pull your bead until it sits at the top there, and then you want to do the same thing at the other side. And then once you've got a bead at either side, you just want to do one square knot to hold them in place. And then once you've done your square knot, again you're going to do what you did when you added your beads, and just add one bead to each cord. And like you did last time, just push your beads up to the top of the cord, and then just do a square knot to fasten them in place. And as you do this, you'll see that you can see your contrast colour in the centre as you're working down your bracelet, and you can see it a little bit when you do a regular square knot, and a little bit more where you've added your beads. You just want to keep doing this all the way down until you've got the bracelet as long as you want it. So once you've got the bracelet as long as you want it, you can remove your cords from the bottom of the board, and then you want to split all your cords into 2 sections. Put one section out of the way, and then you want to take the other section and leave the outside cord free, and then clip the remainder to the bottom of the board. So next you're going to make your buttonhole. So you want to take your outside cord and go over and pull through, and then under and pull through, and then you have to do the same thing again, and you have to keep doing these hitch knots until you've got the gap as big as you need it to fit your button. So how many knots you need will depend on the size of your button, so it's a good idea to check as you go along just to make sure it will fit. And you have to do the same thing at the other side with these. So once you've done both sides, you can clip all your cords in the centre back to the bottom of the board, and leave your 2 outside free, and then you have to do a couple of square knots just to seal your buttonhole. So once you're happy that everything's nice and tight, you can remove the bracelet from the board, and then you want to trim and seal any tail ends. So I'm going to be using a lighter to seal here, but you could use glue if you prefer. And once you've finished, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you just want to try on your bracelet. And that is your completed bead macrame bracelet.